Hello everyone, this is Dr. Vikas Kumar. On behalf of Chetan Bharat Learning, I welcome everybody to the session. Well, ये वो क्लीशे लाइन्स है ना जो आपको कुछ वक्त सुननी पड़ेंगी मेरी सारी क्लासेस में. Anyhow, let's not get into that jokes apart. So when we begin discussing CLAT English, from the point of view of English, we're discussing about CLAT. The first thing that we need to understand or we need to think about is reading comprehension passages. So how shall we help you? We saw that in the last couple of lectures, there was an analysis of two different papers, two different exams, right? Our focus was on English. How did I solve those passages in front of you? Now, that is a paper, right? But are there techniques? Are there strategies which, if implemented well, can enhance the level of your understanding of English language from the point of view, obviously, of CLAT? Yes, there certainly are. So today what we are going to do is we are going to attempt a couple of passages, maybe 3 passages in this session. And while I attempt those passages in front of you, I'll keep telling you what am I doing? How am I finding out the answers? So similarly and gradually, you will be better placed, you will be better equipped to find out answers to various questions. Now, the very first thing, how many people read beyond syllabus books? If you do not, please make it a habit. You need to read. You need to read the newspaper every day. That has to be one of the most important elements in your daily routine. Let's begin. All right. It is heartening that the second wave of COVID-19 has not remained as strong as it looked some 2 months ago. So it is talking about COVID second wave, the times when the second wave of COVID had waned or declined or weakened. So the number of reported cases has had a considerable decline, good decline. And people mustered courage to move out. अपने घरों से निकलना शुरू किया. Earlier, in the wake of fresh lockdown imposed, जब lockdown fresh था, people remained to the peripheries. What is peripheries? Now this is one trick. हो सकता है ऐसे ही in a passage you may not be able to understand the meaning of a particular word. Gauge करते हैं, चलिए यहाँ से gauge करते हैं. मैं भी नहीं आपको meaning बता रहा हूँ, gauge करते हैं. Let's find out. Confined to the something of their houses, यानी घर के अंदर ही confined, limited, restricted. So क्या word होगा ये? इसका meaning यहाँ पर निकलता है territory. Territory ही almost land, territory, वो meaning है इस word के, sorry, beg your pardon. So now what we do is we have seen कि इस तरह से आप word का meaning gauge भी कर सकते हैं. Great, let's continue. The administration then, sorry, I skipped one sentence. Markets were closed and people were instructed to remain inside. The administration sensed that the spread of the pandemic could be controlled to a certain extent if people remained inside their houses. Pretty simple. Second wave has weakened. Number of cases have gone down. What am I doing? I am jotting down points, my dear friends, so that you're able to retain the information. So, whenever you complete reading a paragraph, just revise. Just give yourself a minute, not a minute actually, a few seconds to recall. What all have you read in the paragraph? What has, been the outcome? What is the essence of that paragraph? Job will be done. Great, let's move to the next paragraph rather. The strategy of the government soon bore fruit as the number of COVID-19 affected people started declining every day. So this is coherent with the first sentence. Again, we have come to number of people has come down. This, however, was followed by something unprecedented जो पहले नहीं हुआ and unexpected. Expected भी नहीं था. People knew that most work was being done online and they had the luxury of working on their laptops from their homes. The government also removed the lockdown. What was the result? This saw a sharp increase. So I'm not sure इसमें क्वेश्चन है या नहीं, लेकिन अक्सर जहां पर आप ये रीजन कॉज इफेक्ट देखते हैं ना, कॉज एंड देन इफेक्ट, सो वहां पर देखिए कॉज इफेक्ट, इफेक्ट के लिए मैंने EFF लिखा है. सो कॉज इफेक्ट जब आप देखते हैं जनरली वहां पर क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. सो व्हाट कॉज्ड शार्प इंक्रीज? ये दो चीजें, केसेस कम हो गए थे, गवर्नमेंट ने लॉकडाउन रिमूव कर दिया. लेकिन कहीं भी ऑथर ने गवर्नमेंट को ब्लेम नहीं किया है. वो कह रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट ने तब लॉकडाउन रिमूव किया व्हेन द केसेस डिक्लाइंड, सो इट वाज नेचुरल दैट द गवर्नमेंट वुड लिफ्ट द रिस्ट्रिक्शंस. राइट, लेट्स कंटिन्यू. सो शिमला, मंडी, on the other hand, on the one hand rather, this brought a lot of business to the hill stations. Tourists आएंगे तो business तो आएगा, but also increased the threat of spread of pandemic. So जो cases नीचे आए थे वो दोबारा बढ़ने के chances बन गए because they were not following the COVID-19 instructions. इससे आप क्या समझ पा रहे हैं? ये शब्द क्यों लिखे? ये शब्द हार्श शब्द हैं. These are harsh words, rash words, mockery. कि उन्होंने मजाक ही बना दिया. अगर मैं ऐसा कहूँगा तो मेरी टोन यहाँ पर कैसी हो जाएगी? मैं क्रिटिकल हूँ अबाउट पीपल, आई एम क्रिटिसाइजिंग देम, आई एम नॉट हैप्पी विद देम. सो अगर मैं ऑथर हूँ, सो सीधी सी बात, ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड है. देयर यू गो, देयर आर क्लूज विच यू नीड टू फाइंड आउट. राइट, दिस इज अ क्लू फॉर यू दैट द ब्लेम इज नॉट ऑन द गवर्नमेंट. गवर्नमेंट ने तब हटाया लॉकडाउन जब केसेस कम हुए, सो दैट्स फाइन. लेकिन लोगों पर ब्लेम है. अभी तक तो यही समझ में आया है. Another factor responsible for the enthusiasm, the josh of the tourists rather, was vaccination. Even this seems to make sense that the government should have concealed the number of decreased. Tricky line है, not easy to understand. Here we go. ये देखें, इवन से शुरू कर दिया एंड ही सेज, यहां तक कि पहले क्या कह रहे हैं? एंथुजियाज्म, बड़ा जोश था लोगों में जाने का. राइट, इवन दिस सीम्स टू मेक सेंस दैट द गवर्नमेंट शुड हैव कंसील्ड द नंबर ऑफ डिक्रीज्ड केसेस. व्हेन ही सेज इवन, मतलब दिस इज अ सार्कास्टिक कमेंट कि यार यहां तक कि ये भी सही हो जाता अगर सरकार झूठी बोल देती, नहीं तो ये लोग मानते ही नहीं. राइट, दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. So more people have been infected, should not have removed the lockdown and should not have initiated the process of vaccination. अब ये क्या है? ये सारे sarcastic comments and the author is not saying that the government should not have begun vaccination or the government should not have removed the lockdown, क्योंकि lockdown करने के reasons उन्होंने पहले ही बता दिए हैं, justify कर दिया था उन्होंने किसको? लॉकडाउन को रिमूव करने को. बट ये अलग चीज है. आई होप यू आर बीइंग एबल टू फॉलो. राइट, This makes sense because otherwise, ये देखिए, the so-called responsible. There you go. Responsible citizens have recently shown a heart of lion. कितना sarcastic हो रहे हैं बार बार. Heart of lion against COVID. कि हम नहीं डरते, right? And have given enough business to cities like Shimla. So again, लोगों को criticize किया है, government को नहीं किया है अभी तक. It is also striking that where tourism does help to rather sustain many families, unbridled. मतलब जिस पर कोई फोर्स नहीं है, कंट्रोल नहीं है, अनकंट्रोल्ड. नंबर ऑफ टूरिस्ट्स विजिटिंग द हिल स्टेशंस ड्यूरिंग टाइम्स एज प्रिकेरियस, दैट मीन्स अभी खतरा टला नहीं है. प्रिकेरियस एज द प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन एंजेंडर्स मोर चैलेंजेस. क्लियरली लोगों को ब्लेम किया जा रहा है. द गवर्नमेंट नीड्स टू हैव अ कंट्रोल ओवर द नंबर ऑफ पीपल विजिटिंग द हिल्स, एल्स hospitals in hills will not be able to accommodate all the patients grappling with breathing related problems जो कोविड में थी. सो गवर्नमेंट ने अपना काम कर दिया लेकिन लोग नहीं सुधरे. अब गवर्नमेंट को ही इनको रोकना पड़ेगा. एंड हाउ डज ही एंड? लेट्स सी, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. In addition to this, the government needs to understand that this will precipitate the third wave. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है, शायद एंड हो गया या सो उन्होंने कहा है कि इसके साथ ही गवर्नमेंट को ये समझना पड़ेगा कि अगर लोग ऐसे नहीं सुधरे तो फिर इससे थर्ड वेव आ जाएगी, यानी लोगों को समझ नहीं है। अब एक चीज होती है सेंट्रल आइडिया, समथिंग दैट रन्स थ्रू द पैसेज। इसका देखते हैं क्या है सेंट्रल आइडिया। शुरू में कहा गया था कि कोविड के कम होने से पीपल हैव बिगन कमिंग आउट, पीपल हैव बिगन visiting the hill stations, right? What is the idea that runs through the passage? Clearly, it is that people have made a mockery of COVID-19. People are not afraid of COVID-19 anymore. People may invite the third wave, which they did. Right? Fine. The first question, which of the following can be inferred? The second wave of COVID-19 is weaker now. All right, this is given. The answers to this question, inference, such questions, right? Which are those answers? What is an inference? An inference is something that we deduce, that we conclude it is not stated by the author. If it is stated, it becomes a fact. If it is not stated, only then we can infer it. But for us to be able to infer it, we need to have the data, the necessary information given by the author. So let's see. So again, it has two parameters. The first parameter of an inference is that an inference must not be directly stated by the author, otherwise it is not an inference anymore. The second, it must be based on facts given in the passage. Right, the second wave of COVID-19 is weaker now. No, because the author has stated this. Tourists to help the economy, stated. The weakening of the second wave has had a negative impact on the minds of people who were earlier disciplined and maintained social distancing. Quite right. The government must seal the borders. Too harsh and beyond the context. He has never said that the government has not been strict, and he has never advocated the sealing of borders. Why is this the correct answer? The weakening of second wave has had a negative impact. So that, he's talked about how people became careless, how people went out, how people decided to take COVID on, to challenge COVID. That is the negative impact he's talking about. Nowhere did we see this word in the passage apropos of the impact that COVID, or rather the declining of the cases of COVID, have left. But here we go. Great. Next question. Okay, reading of the passage shows that one of the following is true. Identify the correct statement. Absolutely right. People did not have the, and pretty easy. People did not have the luxury of working from home. Right. This is a tricky one. The government had to be very strict to keep people. All right. People were expected to be more sensible. Well, in the light of the passage, I believe clearly this is the correct answer. Why? Because we are saying that people have done this, making a mockery, heart of lion, enthusiasm, right? So in the context, the author has developed such an ambience, such an atmosphere where these words look to be negative, these sound to be negative, right? But why are we not, or even this one, why are we not picking the other options? Why only C? Let's see. People did not have the luxury. Right, this is an option that is very tricky. Go back to the passage, my dear friends. Which present situation are we talking about? We are talking about second wave. And work from home was available even in wave 1. So this is wrong. Next one. The government had to be very strict to keep people inside their houses. Let's see. What does he say? Lockdown imposed. We're talking about wave 1. People remain confined to the peripheries. Most, rather, markets were closed and people were instructed to remain inside. The government did not have to be very strict. Instructed, he says. although in some places it was. Anyhow, let's not get into that. So, wrong. Yes, we have already discussed it. The government prematurely removed the lockdown. No, it was the right stage. It was the correct stage to remove the lockdown. But it was the people of this nation who should have been more sensible. So that's gone. Next one. According to the passage, the government misread the situation. No. The government should have lied to people and told higher numbers of COVID-19 patients so that people remained inside their houses. Now, this has been directly stated, but as I said earlier, something that the author has stated sarcastically cannot be the correct answer. This is a sarcastic comment. यार ऐसे ही हटा देते, इनको तो झूठ ही बोलना पड़ता है ऐसे लोगों को. That doesn't mean कि झूठ ही बोलना चाहते हैं वो. The number of hospitals in hills is precariously less, and thus those may not be able to accommodate all patients. ये लिखा तो था. Hospitals in hills will not be able to accommodate all the patients. Does it mean that the number of hospitals is less, or something else? Now, let's say the entire nation, God forbid, someday that if may happen, may God save all of us. If someday all of us fall sick, will there be enough accommodation in hospitals? There won't be. So, the number of hospitals is not less. The number of patients will be higher. The government was sensible in starting the vaccination, absolutely, and announcing a decline, because that was truth. The government only spoke the truth. Identify the tone of the author. Now, very important question. When you encounter a question of tone, the first thing that you need to understand is pick the central idea. That will be the generic tone. Otherwise, the tone keeps changing throughout a passage. Sometimes the author criticizes, sometimes the author praises, right? So likewise, it keeps changing. Look at the central idea. That is your main tone. Cynical, he doesn't believe anyone whom he is not believing. Optimistic, all right, he's very optimistic that this will happen, that will happen, and COVID will go. No, he's not optimistic at all. Sarcastic, he has used sarcasm only in 2 or 3 words. That's it. Admonishing by and large in the central idea, he is warning us that you better stay inside, otherwise. See the last sentence? See? You better stay inside, otherwise even hospitals will not be able to accommodate you. There you go. Admonishing means to warn. In accordance with the passage, which of the following must be done by the government to preclude wave 3? Although it did come finally. The government must impose the lockdown? No. He does not support the lockdown. The government must quicken the vaccination program. He says it is already quick. So no. Must spread awareness? Yes, because people are not aware enough. The government must seal the borders? Not at all. So pretty easy. See, I picked the answer from the central idea. I know that the central idea is that the government, rather the people, are not sensible enough. So there you go. Problem solved. All right. So this takes us to the next passage. All right. Now be prepared with a pen and a paper, my dear friends. There are more than a couple of words which may trouble you. All right. Platitudes are easy to be rendered and posited. The first sentence is a little twisted. What are platitudes? Platitudes are badi baatein, like aise rehna chahiye, waise rehna chahiye. Those ethical conversations, right? So, which are centered around ethics, are easy to be rendered. Rendered means presented. And posited. Posited means to be put somewhere in front of somebody. Right. So, cynosures of most philosophical discourses. Cynosures are center of attraction of most philosophical. What is philosophical? Philosophical is something that involves philosophy. Again, didactism. Something that gives you moral teaching. Discourses are dialogues. Broach means to raise a topic formally to discuss. Human values and society determined yardsticks. Society के द्वारा determined. That's why we have this hyphen. Society के द्वारा determined yardsticks. Yardsticks के क्या मतलब है? Yardsticks means this is good, this is bad. How to judge the good? These are the parameters of the good. This is what good people do. This is what bad people do. ऐसे जज करने के लिए जो parameters हैं उनको yardsticks कहते हैं. All right. These often pivot. Pivot means to put something at the center. A man who's virtuous for not subjecting his wife to violence and not asking for dowry. Or a good woman who is not promiscuous and endures all the atrocities perpetrated. Perpetrated means something bad that is carried out. जो होता है बुरी चीज कोई की जाए तो by various men in society, never thinks about moving out of a marital relationship and does not have the audacity is दुस्साहस, to defy the diktats. Diktats, वो rules which are announced without public consent. So एक family में जो head होगा, if the head just announces something without even bothering to seek the consult of others, that is a diktat. Of the powerful patriarchs. Patriarchs कौन होते हैं? Males, जो males को ही strengthened या strong देखना चाहते हैं और चाहते हैं कि decision making उन्हीं के हाथ में रहे. तो मैं क्या कह रहा है इतना लंबा सा sentence? He says that men को अच्छा मान लिया जाता है सिर्फ इतना सा करने पर कि वो अपनी वाइफ को मारे नहीं, वायलेंस ना करे या दहेज के पैसे ना मांगे. और वो तो नॉर्मल होना चाहिए. उसमें अब नॉर्मल क्या है? उसमें ऐसा क्या है कि बहुत बड़ी बात हो गई दहेज के पैसे नहीं मांगे. दैट शुड बी नॉर्मल, राइट? लेकिन हमारा सोसाइटी ऐसी हो गई है, कल्चर ऐसा हो गया है कि जो दहेज नहीं मांगता वो हमें लगता है, ओह माय गॉड, व्हाट अ देवता, राइट? देन ही सेज मेन के लिए इतना आसान है अच्छा बनना सोसाइटी में. विमेन को कब वो सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ बीइंग गुड मिलता है? जब वो promiscuous नहीं होती. Promiscuous is a person who has a lot of love relationships. Women promiscuous ना हो, सब कुछ सारे अत्याचार, atrocities और अत्याचारों को सहे जो अलग अलग men उसके ऊपर करते हैं, कभी भी डिवोर्स के बारे में नहीं सोचे और मेल्स के डिक्टेट्स को चैलेंज करने की ऑडेसिटी तो साहस तो उसमें हो ही ना, देन वो बनती है एक अच्छी वुमन. सो मेन के लिए इट इज इजी टू गेट दैट सर्टिफिकेट. क्लियरली, conspicuously is clearly in our society, irrespective of man and women with the mentioned qualities, we have duplicitous standards of morality. क्योंकि जो भी मेल या फीमेल हो, हमारे पास हमारे जो स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं मोरालिटी को जज करने के लिए वो डुप्लिसिटस है. There are various examples to illustrate this hypocrisy. बहुत सारे examples हैं ये इस hypocrisy को illustrate करने के लिए. एक आदमी who remains out with friends at night is careless at the worst. अगर कोई मेल सारी रात दोस्तों के साथ बाहर रहे तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा उसे careless कह दिया जाता है. बट अगर कोई वुमन ऐसा करे तो हम कहते हैं कि she is inviting rapes. The first question asked to a rape victim who is raped in the darkness of the night, the first question that we as a society ask her is, what was she doing at such hours? वो उस वक्त बाहर कर क्या रही थी? बॉलीवुड मेल एक्टर्स अपनी जिम टोन बॉडीज को एक्सपोज करते हैं और हम ताली बजा देते हैं. We clap because we find, oh wow, what biceps, wow, what chest, great muscles, oh fantastic abs, right? But a female actor जो ट्रांसल्यूसेंट कपड़े पहन लेती है, she is trolled on Twitter. फिर ये डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स की. A female actor recently censured means criticized. She was female actor. I won't name her, but I know whom is he talking about. Censured, बहुत क्रिटिसाइज किया गया था उन्हें, बहुत डिलीट किया गया था क्योंकि उन्होंने तीसरी बार शादी कर ली थी. We find it so easy and well within our right. मतलब हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हमें हक भी है not only to judge but also term women as loose, promiscuous. अरे इसके तो बहुत सारे अफेयर्स हैं, तो तीसरी बार शादी कर ली है ही ऐसी. And this makes a huge noise. If a woman marries twice or thrice, it makes a huge noise in society. Oh my God, she's married again. Like that. However, Lothario क्या होता है? Lothario is a male specifically who has many affairs. Many, however, are termed Lothario only if they had illicit love affairs with dozens of women and raped women. So, men के लिए ये promiscuous का जो opposite है वो Lothario है. ये वाली डिग्री तब होती है, तब सर्टिफिकेट ये इतना खराब वाला मिलता है अगर dozens के साथ love affairs रहे हों उनके and they have raped women. So there are two different standards. Men के लिए अलग standards, women के लिए अलग standards. ये हमारी society है. The schism divide को कहते हैं. The schism between the parameters of morality for genders transpires. Transpires मतलब emerges. Clearly सामने आ जाता है. And that also impacts the choice of profession. और choice of profession पर भी उनके impact होता है उसका. इनग्रेन मतलब शुरू से ही कोई चीज इंसर्ट कर देना, किसी में सीमेंट कर देना. हम प्रेजुडिसेस जल्दी सिखा देते हैं बच्चों को. हाउ? एक गर्ल चाइल्ड को कहा जाता है टू प्ले विद डॉल्स एंड किचन सेट्स, और मेल्स को अक्सर कहा जाता है, जो यंग बॉयज होते हैं उनको गन लाके दे दी जाती है. अ वुमन हु इज स्कैर्ड ऑफ कॉकरोचेस एंड लिजर्ड्स इज लाइक्ड बाय मेन. एक ऐसी लड़की जो कॉकरोचेस या लिजर्ड से डरे वो मेन को पसंद होती है, क्योंकि जब वो उनको हेल्प के लिए बुलाती है, हम मेल्स शेर की तरह दहाड़ते हुए जाते हैं और उसको एक कॉकरोच से बचा लेते हैं. एंड दैट असर्ट्स आवर स्ट्रेंथ, आवर मैस्कुलिनिटी. तब लगता है कि वाह भाई ये है हीरो, तो लड़की को कॉकरोच से बचा दिया बाथरूम में, as if that cockroach would have eaten her. So our so-called morals or rules or dictats of morality have also seen the goddess in women. इन्हीं से वो term goddess भी निकला है women के लिए. वो कैसे देखते हैं? Superficial concepts like these, superficial जो genuine नहीं होते, concepts like these deprive women of the opportunity to be themselves, express their physical and emotional desires. हम क्या करते हैं? हम women को गॉडेस बोलते हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है. मेन को नहीं बोलते. हाँ, क्योंकि मेन तो अपवित्र हैं, विमेन कुछ ज्यादा ही पवित्र हैं. नाउ व्हेन वी से सो, व्हाट डू वी मीन? बिकॉज शी इज अ देवी, सो उसको देवी की तरह बिहेव भी करना पड़ेगा. देवी में तो बहुत पेशेंस होते हैं. हम मेल्स तो पतित होते हैं. वी आर नॉट दैट प्योर, वी आर इम्प्योर. सो हम गलती कर सकते हैं. फीमेल को तो हक ही नहीं देते हम गलती करने का. वाई? Because of this superficial concept, goddess. जो इस धरती पे जी रहे हैं ना, men, women, all of them are people, human beings. They have physical desires, they have emotional desires, they have weaknesses, they have strengths. उनमें अच्छा बुरा सब कुछ मौजूद है. We cannot generalize, we cannot fix standards of morality just like we have. और वेमेन के केस में ये मोरालिटी के स्टैंडर्ड्स बहुत स्ट्रिंजेंट है. इसी को क्रिटिसाइज करने की कोशिश अगेन की जा रही है. वी आर पीपल हु वर्शिप लिटिल गर्ल्स. जब छोटी बच्चियां होती हैं तो हम उनकी पूजा करते हैं, जिन्होंने अभी प्योबर्टी अटेन नहीं किया है, एज गॉडेस, एंड पेट्रोनाइज एंड रेलिगेट द सेम वेमेन. पेट्रोनाइज किसी को लो डाउन करना, रेलिगेट किसी का स्टेटस नीचे ले देना. पेट्रोनाइज करना, नीचा दिखाना. जब वो बड़ी हो जाती हैं तो उनको नीचा दिखाया जाता है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली विमेन भी यूनाइटेड नहीं है इस एडिफिस, इस कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सिस्टम के अगेंस्ट. दे आर कोऑप्टेड इनटू दिस कॉन्वोल्यूटेड स्ट्रक्चर. कॉन्वोल्यूटेड इज ट्विस्टेड, मोड़ा हुआ, नॉटी, KNOTTY. Some women also like to be saved by men when they see a cockroach. There are certain women who also like to shout for help when they see a cockroach. So basically ये बता रहे हैं कि एज अ सोसाइटी हमने विमेन और मेन के लिए अलग स्टैंडर्ड्स रखे हैं. हमारे लिए मेन और विमेन अलग हैं, और women खुद भी इस सोसाइटी में, इनफैक्ट इस सिस्टम में co-opt हो चुकी हैं, and they also, सारी women नहीं, some women co-opt हो चुकी हैं सिस्टम. चलिए, which of the following is correct in the light of the passage? Men have all the liberty. Generally, such choices are wrong. These are extreme choices. All. So wrong. Women don't have any liberty. Again, an extreme choice. Any liberty? They have some liberty, but not much. Women who tolerate have admirers. This is correct. There was a word, endure. Somewhere here. Endures. Here we go. Means tolerate. So women who tolerate have admirers. Female actors are not allowed to wear. It's not that they are not allowed. They don't need to seek permission, but they are told. According to the passage, one of the following is wrong. Identify the untrue option. Men are criticized if they have many affairs. No, they are criticized. वहाँ लिखा था dozens of affairs. So not the answer. Rapists are not admired. They are not admired. They do become social villains. That is also given. So it is incorrect. Rapists are often dehumanized. Correct answer. Women are dehumanized. No. Because women actually are dehumanized. What is dehumanizing? Dehumanizing means I don't allow a person to behave like a human being. Like, ladka ke rote hai? As if we are not human beings. That is dehumanizing men. खर्चा तो सारा यही करेगा. He's the man. Dehumanizing. अभी ATM cards. खाना तो लड़की की बनाएगी. That is dehumanizing. Right? Oh, लड़कियों की शराब पीती है. That is again dehumanizing. So you're not allowing a person to behave like a human being. That is dehumanizing. Rapists are never dehumanized. Therefore, this is the correct answer. C. Which of the following can be inferred? We make women feel like they're dainty since childhood. It is given. जब वो dolls की बात हुई है. The actress was considered promiscuous is the answer. Why? It was written that the actress was criticized. It was also written that she married thrice. So it is our inference that she must have been considered promiscuous. It was not written. Relegation of women happens after growing up? No. Right at the childhood. With the childhood. Since birth probably. We condition women as if they are weak. It is stated. So this is also not the correct answer. Option B makes the best choice. Why do we have such disparities in the standards of morality? Look at women and men differently. This is the result, not the reason. Why do we have? We need the reason. Women need safety. Everybody needs safety. So this is not the answer. Wrong option. Women are less powerful than men. Never ever. That's the best choice. Women are conditioned as weaker, and that suits the masculinity of men. How does it suit the masculinity of men? You know, it assures us, yes, we are strong. I was there when you wanted somebody to save you from a cockroach, and I was there. Otherwise, that cockroach was very dangerous. You know, so such an attitude helps us. It helps us assert our strength over women. So sad. Which of the following is incorrect? Women are not responsible for the system of patriarchy. Probably yes, because women are also responsible. So we have been asked to find the incorrect option. This seems to be the best choice. Saving a woman from danger is a sign of masculinity. This is not the correct answer because we need the incorrect one, and it is correct. The choices given to men early determine their nature. This is also given. Women are sometimes against one another, and this is also given. We need the incorrect one. So, option A. All right. The edifice of the Indian system, edifice, complicated system. Indian social structure rather is hard to understand. It is the stratification division of people on the basis of castes has caused the most intricate means something that is not easy to understand. It has many layers, many twists and turns, and brutal discrimination, cruel. It is noteworthy that Dalits standing at the lowest echelon is social ranking. were not allowed to enter the Hindu temples at one stage. कभी हुआ करता था ऐसा. They subsequently established a parallel system of their deities. उन्होंने अपना एक सिस्टम बना लिया, अपने खुद के deities establish कर लिए. They also proselytized, converted into other religions in big numbers. Ambedkar arrived on the scene. Ambedkar came and Dalits asserted their right on education. Ambedkar drove their attention towards education, which they were deprived of for centuries. काफी सालों से centuries से उनको नहीं मिला था जो. With this, they developed Dalit consciousness that we are Dalits and this is how we need to grow. The movement for emancipation. Emancipation means freedom of Dalits from the clutches of caste became stronger. Ambedkar also ensured reservation for Dalits in government jobs, initially for 10 years. However, Ambedkar died and things changed. No government had the political will, very important line, to weaken reservation. Some Dalits living in cities had access to education and thus bettered their lives. वो Dalits जो शहरों में रह रहे थे, they improved their lives. Dalits in rural areas or who did not have access to modern education, आज वाली education, शायद पुराने वाली education हो, वो poor ही रह गए or uneducated. In the modern era, there is a palpable is clear, unrest, discomfort among the upper castes with regard to, apropos means in relation with reservation. To this, Dalits retort, jawab dena, that we were not allowed to have education for centuries and thus अब हमें जरूरत है क्योंकि starting line same नहीं थी, so हमें तो centuries तक education नहीं मिला. Now we need such facilities to ensure the betterment of our community. The Savarnas, non-Dalits, contend means argue that poverty among Dalits अब उतनी खतरनाक नहीं, उतनी grave नहीं है, enormous नहीं है, and the reservation should be scrapped. बंद हो जाना चाहिए. I'm really sorry for that. Just give me a second. Yeah, here we go. खत्म हो जाना चाहिए. It is saddening to see that the percentage of Dalits in the administrative services आज भी single figures में है. 7 या 8% ऐसा कुछ था, या शायद उससे भी कम. But it is equally saddening to see that just like Dalits were oppressed and had few opportunities, अब non-Dalits are coerced means forced to grapple with paucity of windows. मतलब उनके पास भी opportunities कम हो गई हैं non-Dalits के पास. So reverse operation जैसा चल रहा है. There are Dalits जिनको अभी भी reservation की जरूरत है. हर दलित को नहीं है. All Dalits do not need. Strikingly, हैरान कर देने वाली बात है, the benefit of reservation is not reaching the poorest of Dalits. शायद ये वक्त आ गया है that the government should review the system of reservation. किन Dalits को actually जरूरत है is a matter of probe inquiry. और after that identification is done, remaining Dalits should be ready कि हम grow कर चुके, अब हमें जरूरत नहीं है, to sacrifice their right to reservation so that कुछ benefit could be given to the needy non-Dalits, because poverty तो poverty है, वो दलित की हो या non-दलित की हो, एक ही जैसी है. Hunger is hunger, it does not recognize caste. Penury, extreme poverty hurts a Dalit and non-Dalit equally. However, we must never forget that reservation caste की वजह से है और untouchability की वजह से. Caste और untouchability reservation की वजह से नहीं है. So पहले caste है, उसके बाद reservation हुआ. Caste is the basic reason. Okay, which can be inferred? Dalits do not need reservation. ये तो इसका opposite कहा है. Non-Dalits should be given some benefit. ये directly कह दिया गया है या नहीं कहा गया है. Let's see. Should be given benefit like reservation. Many Dalits left. No, it has been stated. यहाँ पे कहीं या कहा गया है. Many Dalits left Hinduism because they were denied the right to worship. This seems to be a good choice. ये देखिए, यहाँ पे अगर हम first paragraph को पढ़ें, so it is clearly written, they were not allowed to enter the Hindu temples at one stage. They subsequently एस्टैब्लिश्ड, इस कॉन्सिक्वेंटली नहीं लिखा है, इसके बाद इसकी वजह से नहीं लिखा है, वो ऑप्शन में वी हैव इन्फर्ड दैट इट इज ड्यू टू दिस, सो दिस इज द रीजन, कॉज इफेक्ट। द गवर्नमेंट मस्ट रिव्यू, ये भी गिवन है, सो इन्फ्रेंस का आंसर गिवन तो होता ही नहीं है। व्हाई इज रिजर्वेशन फॉर दलित्स नीडेड टुडे? दिस इज द राइट आंसर, क्योंकि उन्होंने लिखा है कि अभी भी कई दलित्स को एजुकेशन नहीं मिला है, तो उनका ग्रोथ तो हुआ ही नहीं है। व्हाट काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रगल? Dalits in rural areas do not have access to education, ये गलत है। Access to modern education लिखा था वहां पर, if I take you back. Somewhere it was written. All right, here we go. Modern education, see, did not have modern education. So Ambedkar thought it has to be propagated, no. Who is responsible for the present struggle of non-Dalits? The system of reservation, the caste system that engendered reservation, political intricacies. अगर हम पैसेज में ढूंढे ना इसका आंसर, तो सिस्टम ऑफ रिजर्वेशन नहीं है। वो तो कह रहे हैं कि रिजर्वेशन इज स्टिल रिक्वायर्ड, लेकिन किसको रिक्वायर्ड है वो देखना चाहिए। ये है आपका आंसर। However, no government had the political will to weaken. So political intricacies आंसर है कि उनके पास राइट तो है लेकिन वो रिव्यू कर ही नहीं रहे हैं। दैट इज द करेक्ट आंसर। व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज ट्रू? द एम ऑफ रिजर्वेशन वाज टू ट्रिगर द ग्रोथ, बिल्कुल ठीक, क्योंकि शुरू करने के लिए ही था, राइट। विलेज नीड रिजर्वेशन, दलित्स इन सिटीज आर वेल ऑफ, दिस इज एन एक्सट्रीम स्टेटमेंट, अ स्वीपिंग स्टेटमेंट, ये इनकरेक्ट है कि सारे जो शहरों में रहते हैं वो सही हैं, दलित्स रिच है। कास्ट हैज बीन engendered rather by reservation and persists being a problem, ये तो गलत है। कास्ट रिजर्वेशन से नहीं आई है, रिजर्वेशन कास्ट से आया है, तो ये भी गलत है। दलित्स और सवर्णास इकट्ठे रहते हैं, द क्वेश्चन ऑफ रिजर्वेशन इज ईदर पैरिड, नो इट इज नॉट पैरिड। पैरिड मीन्स साइड स्टेप्ड, इग्नोर्ड, ये क्वेश्चन इग्नोर नहीं किया जाता। उन्होंने लिखा था कि अनरेस्ट है लोगों में। An apt title for the passage should be Dalits and Reservation, the impact of reservation, the history of reservation, the relevance, यही बताया है उन्होंने। All right, my dear friends, I hope आपको सारे questions और answers clearly समझ आ गए होंगे। Very soon we'll meet you again with new passages, new questions, new answers, more practice. Bye bye, take care.